Let's talk labor issues this morning because the OWTU has elected its executive and the team Rebel, headed by Ansel Roger, the incumbent President General of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, elected unopposed, and included among them two women, and it's reflective of the importance of women in the trade union movement, with Sati Gajada Innis elevated to the post of first vice president, and Janelle Thomas as a trustee. We expect to be joined by Ms. Gajada in this very shortly, but we have Ms. Janelle Thomas with us. Very good morning to you. Thanks very much for joining us. What do you think this means for you, Ms. Thomas? Good morning to you, to be part of an executive that includes women in such significant positions. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Fazir. Good morning to my fellow trade unionists, and good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. To me, the role of women, trade union means organized movement, organized labor. And women are the planners, administrators, directors, to serve their families as well as the community on the whole. And being in this critical position now, I would be able to organize just the same way as I do for my family and community, and to bring about the critical issues we have in the working environment today, for better working conditions and better benefits for workers. So the critical role of women is to ensure that it is organized and planned well.
And you know, it's interesting that this team is called Team Rebel, which I find interesting because rebel means going against the established order. But this is the same old, isn't it? If you've got Ansel Roger at the helm, he's not a rebel. He's part of the establishment as far as the trade union movement.
I know what you would say something like that, Fazir, but behind a good man, they always say behind a good man is a good woman. And now behind this good man is three good women. So we are here to bring different perspectives, ideas, strategies to the OWTU now. So it's going to be a difference. You're going to see a difference. We made history where there's three women now on the executive of the OWTU. So I'm sure you're going to see the difference in the organization.
And what do you think will be the fundamental difference? Because obviously, as we're all aware, this is a very challenging time for the trade union movement. The feeling is, and we've heard the accusation from union leaders, that this government, this PNM administration is trying its very best to destroy the trade union movement. I mean, there's offer of 2% over 8 years. We hear there's an offer that has been upgraded to 4% for some categories as well. What are these women, including yourself, going to bring that will represent any fundamental difference to what is clearly a very difficult fight?
As I said, yes, it is a difficult time for trade unions. And you see, persons are no longer class conscious like before, right? So we need to bring a different way of bringing the information to the workers, working more on the ground, bringing more awareness. And this is what you're going to see from this executive. We're going back to the ground to get things back on track.
I believe we've just had Ms. Sati Gajada Innis joining us, and let's see if she's there to give us her perspective. A very good morning to you, Ms. Gajada Innis, and congratulations on being elected first vice president.
Hi, good morning, Fazir. Unfortunately, Sati could not be here this morning, but I'm here, REESA RAMLOGAN JODHA. I was successfully nominated as the second vice president of the OWTU.
Okay, let me apologize because again, because I'm working from home and I'm having some technical challenges, I'm kind of working blind this morning, so I do apologize. Ms. RAMLOGAN JODHA, tell me as to what you see as your role with this organization, because as I mentioned to Ms. Thomas, this is a very, very difficult time for the trade union movement, and the feeling is that there's a level of desperation just to keep jobs, and the bargaining power of the trade union movement might be seriously challenged at this time. What is your perspective?
Good morning again to Trinidad and Tobago. And Fazir, I think my comrade said it best when she spoke about class consciousness. And what we are seeing is that is being lost. And the trade union movement, we really have to engage in some serious work to be able to bring back that consciousness among the people. Because what the people we have realized that a lot of persons, working class persons, have become comfortable with where they are without understanding how they came about all these benefits that they enjoy. And these are benefits that were not given to them by management. Simple things as health and safety. You have a good living wage. All of these things were not given by management. It was fought for by the trade union movement. And until and unless they understand that and acknowledge that and appreciate that, we are going to be in some serious problems. So it is going to take a lot, but we are determined as a trade union movement to really work the ground to bring back that class consciousness among the working class people so that there can be appreciation. And in having that appreciation, they can now fight to be able to preserve what they now enjoy.
And are you satisfied that your trade union, of which you are a part of the executive, are really able to champion the cause? Because some may be of the belief that having a job is better than none, and even if the terms and conditions are far from ideal, as exemplified by 2% over 8 years, is better than nothing in these very difficult times, Ms. JODHA.
And you are quite correct, huh? A lot of people, that is the mindset that they have. But if we really look at what is happening in having that mindset, slowly everything is being stripped away. And if we continue in that mindset, it's just a matter of time before really and truly what would we have. And I am very confident. I'm very confident that the Oilfields Workers Trade Union is in a position to be able to champion that cause. I mean, we have the experience, and this is something that we have been through before. It is no easy task. I'm not going to fool anyone. It is not an easy task. It is not going to be easy. It has not been easy. But the difference is that we have comrades that are dedicated, that are loyal, and that understand where we need to be as a people to be able to not only preserve what we have as a working class people, but also as citizens of this country.
And before I go back to Ms. Thomas for a comment, before we take a break, and then when we come back, we'll focus on the Labor Day observances and exactly what's going to be happening come Sunday. Of course, Monday is the holiday as well. Every time I speak to you, I ask the question about having a meeting with the Public Utilities Minister. Has that taken place as yet?
No, Fazil, it hasn't. It hasn't. And that in itself signals where we are as a people. Once we just simply accept what is being thrown at us, then we in a really bad place. And despite all of the requests, despite all of the demonstrations, a meeting, the minister has not even had the courtesy.
Okay, the Wi-Fi just seems to be giving a bit of a challenge at the moment with RAMLOGAN JODHA. But let me go across quickly to Ms. Thomas.
Sure.
Hopefully the Wi-Fi will settle down once again. But let me go quickly to Ms. Thomas to just get a final perspective before we come back, and the Wi-Fi will be behaving itself. It seems to be a difficult morning for many of us in many ways. But Ms. Thomas, just on that point, I mean, the fact that government officials, ministers, as in the case in this case, Marvelous Marvin Gonzalez, who's all over the place talking, putting on TNTech uniform and so on, much like Faris Al-Rawi, going up in cherry picker, cutting bush and all of that sort of thing, playing to the audience because they know, Ms. Thomas, this is a difficult time for the trade union movement, and they could simply ignore the trade union movement and get away with it. What is your view on that, Ms. Thomas?
Well, Fazil, coming out of the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs, as well as the cost of living has skyrocketed. So as you said, persons would want to accept what is given to them. But workers need to understand, as my comrade said, this did not come easy, right? So they need to stand up to preserve what they have. They need to remember on the backs of our forefathers, these things happen for them, right? So when we are being disrespected by the ministers, they're not only disrespecting the trade union, they are disrespecting workers. So they need to understand this and become conscious of this.
Okay, let's take a break. We're continuing our dialogue with REESA, RAMLOGAN, JODHA, and Janelle Thomas, part of the executive, the newly elected executive of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union. And when we come back from the break, we'll put the focus on Labor Day and indeed what is going to be happening on Labor Day from the OWTU perspective. What are the issues that are going to be highlighted? What are the issues that are going to be discussed with the working people of Trinidad and Tobago come Labor Day on Sunday? We'll be back right after this. And as we go to the break, we're going to show you one of our Trinbago nice images. I think we've got mangoes for you from Charlie Hill, from one of our viewers. We'll put that up as soon as we get it up there for you. As we go to the break, we'll be back right after this. Coming now towards 6:30 in Trinidad and Tobago as we continue our dialogue with two members of the executive, two women members of the executive of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union. Janelle Thomas is with us and REESA, RAMLOGAN, JODHA. And again, if it looks a bit strange to you, our setting this morning is because I'm doing morning edition from home. I'm not sure if it's COVID as yet. I did a test yesterday, came up negative. But the way I'm feeling, as I said, like a paratha this morning, really mash up. I'll have to do another test today to probably find out. But in any event, our two guests are very much hale and hearty and full of energy for the Labor Day observances coming up on Sunday. Of course, the 19th, the holiday will be on Monday. Not forgetting tomorrow is a holiday as well, Corpus Christi. So, Janelle Thomas, just tell us from your point of view, what do you see as the main focus, the main thrust of the Labor Day observances come Sunday?
Okay, so for the main focus, I'm sure our PG would be speaking about gender-based violence, rising food prices, rising in fuel costs, corruption. So, you know, he's a fireman. So he come in to burn down the town in Faizabad on Sunday. It is also critical to note the crime rate would be spoken about, and just talking about the general issues of the working environment, better working conditions for workers. So this would be basically the focus on Sunday.
And before I go to Mr. RAMLOGAN and JODHA, just give me your perspective on the effectiveness of Labor Day, Ms. Thomas, because it almost seems like a performance in the same way that our parliamentarians put on a show in whether it's the Senate, whether it's the House of Representatives. It can be argued, and indeed, was it last week, we had the trade unions holding a media conference talking about moving a motion of no confidence in the government of Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, that is obvious. Why would you have to restate the obvious? So really, what are you offering that is any different, Ms. Thomas, as far as highlighting the challenges faced by the labor movement on Labor Day?
Well, Fazir, in order to put across a point, you have to keep repeating it. I know sometimes you say it is the same old, but workers and Trinidadians on the whole need to understand and hear the message over and over. Sometimes you don't get it the first time, you have to get it the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth time. So I'm not going to say it is a performance. People need to sit down and actually listen to the message that is sent, listen to the messages of the other trade unions, because everybody is facing the same issues every single day in their life. and they need to hear the message and actually come out and support. Only when we are united, things will change. So you need to send a message in different forms, but the Labor Day is the way we send our message to workers.
Okay, but Ms. RAMLOGAN JODHA, give me your perspective. Does it really work? Because again, I mean, we saw a little while ago after the offer of 0.0000 and then 2% subsequently, we saw your President General pulling an effigy of Keith Rowley in front of Whitehall. I mean, all those things make for good imagery. But beyond the old mass performance, and correct me if I'm wrong, this seems to be what the trade union movement believes is effective. Is that really effective representation?
Okay, Fazir. So let me firstly say that, I mean, it's easy to make a statement like that, but as a trade unionist and as a working class people, as citizens of this country, we need to understand the significance of Labor Day, right? It carries a deep significance. It signifies, and I'm certain that you will be aware as well as the general public, it signifies the Butler riots and the oil fields back in the 1930s, 1937. And if we look at what would have triggered that movement back then, we're seeing the similarity in what is occurring today. The reality is there is a real attack on trade unionism. There is an attack on the working class people. They want, what we're looking at right now is an attempt to take away that middle class so that as a country, we will be at the feet of those that sit in power. And that's not where we want to be. And once that attack remains alive and real as it is right now, as workers, we have to send a strong statement that we are not going to accept that. And this is what Labor Day is about. Every Labor Day, it's a different fight. It's a different struggle. Yes, some of the things remain, year after year, these are challenges that we face. But what we're seeing right now is an attack to demolish the trade union movement. And what we need to realize as a people is once we allow that to happen, then it's a sad day for us. It will indeed be a sad day because we will be at a place where as a people, we no longer have the power that we are supposed to have as the people of this land. So, I mean, as it is right now, Fazir, I can tell you the ground is rumbling. You are hearing it, and not only among the working class people, but among the citizens of this country, because people are fed up, they're tired, and they ought to be, because how much can we take? So I'm certain that this Labor Day, it's been 2 years since we've been out on the streets, and this Labor Day is going to be a Labor Day with a difference. This is OWTU, this is JTAM, and I'm certain that you can expect some differences in how we approach Labor Day this year, but it is indeed going to be a day to remember, Labor Day 2022. You see, the attack on decent work, this is something that we have to stand against. And as working class people, we are going to make that stand this Labor Day.
Well, before I go back to Ms. Thomas for her perspective as well, could I ask you, Ms. RAMLOGAN JODHA, has the trade union movement lost its way from that 1937 time? Because again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that it's more, again, of a Juve style jump up. You see people chipping down the road and singing songs and whatever. And again, as I mentioned, the effigies and so on. I don't get the impression that it's really about explaining to the working class the real issues that are facing them right now. It is more about stirring things up in the same way that the politicians do.
No, I don't believe that is what it is, for you, to be quite honest with you. And as a trade unionist, I mean, you would have that appreciation for what happens not only on Labor Day, but look at May Day 2022. You see, once we, and it goes back to consciousness, once we are conscious, we could understand. And this is something, this is you feel that burning fire inside of you because you understand the significance of Labor Day. You understand what went before us, and you understand what we are facing right now. So this is an opportunity that presents itself every year, every June 19th. And I mean, it is something that really and truly we, as a forum, that we utilize to bring to the public and to bring out the issues and to also identify and chart a way forward among the working class people as to how we are going to approach, the situation that is before us.
Okay, let me leave the final word with Janelle Thomas. We thank you very much, Ms. RAMLOGAN JODHA, for offering your perspective as well. So let me throw that same question to you, Ms. Thomas. Are you satisfied that the trade union movement is really reaching its membership in a fundamental way, as far as making them fully aware of the realities on a Labor Day, or is it basically just an excuse to trip down the road and have a good time?
Because Labor Day is in no way supposed to be a chip and dance. Okay, at Labor Day, messages are sent. Workers come out and talk about the issues that they're having, and I think it is workers have lost their way because they have gone into this walking the line at their organizations. They just want to accept what is given to them, and they need to understand and become conscious, as my comrade has said, about everything that was done for them before. So Labor Day is a time where the messages are supposed to sink in, and they need the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago need to hear it. So whether we have to do it time and time again, the OWTU will be there standing firm to spread the message of what the labor movement is about.
Janelle Thomas and REESA, RAMLOGAN JODHA, we want to thank you very much, ladies, for taking the time to be with us, because this certainly is a very challenging time for the trade union movement, for the labor movement, and we'll see how that materializes come Sunday, the Labor Day, with the holiday on Monday, as far as highlighting the issues and maybe responding to my own cynicism as to whether or not the main issues are being addressed. And Mr. Thomas, maybe a little happy that because I'm sick like a dog and I'm getting on as bad as I usually do. But let's see when I feel a little better, and I can invite you to be on the show once more.
No problem.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Take care.
Thank you very much once again for being with us. 6:42 in Trinidad and Tobago, and starting to range us a little bit along the east-west corridor. But as we go to the break, and I didn't give you the COVID-19 protocols, but we put them up on the screen for you. Let's now show you some nice imagery from our Trinbago, the nice features, as we head to the break at 6:42 in Trinidad and Tobago. We'll be back right after this. I think we're going to show you mangoes, are we, from Charleville? Do we have them there? Yes, very sizable mangoes as well from Charleville, no doubt freshened up by the extra rains that we've had over the last few days. We'll be right back.